and welcome to this educational video. There is a saying, you are what you eat. Whenever I tell this proverb to my friends and colleagues, they tease me. I know, Bharat, you are what you eat. That means you eat a lot of fatty substances because you look plump and fatty. Jokes apart, it is well known that whatever diet you consume, whatever is your nutrition, whatever is your intake, that influences your physical health. And it has been identified that fat content in your diet will influence your physical health. You might have heard of several things: good fat, bad fat, vegetable fat, animal fat, trans fat, cholesterol. You have good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. So many things you might have heard in literature, in news articles and magazines. And it's also known that if you have bad fat in your diet and you consume it on a regular basis, it influences your health. It influences the way you are vulnerable to diseases. Constant consumption of fatty food can increase your blood pressure, can also lead to chronic diseases such as coronary heart disease or certain types of cancer. But did you know that there are certain good fatty substances that will help improve your mental ability, your mental activity, mental performance, brain activity? Even I don't have much information about it. Let us speak about this with our expert, Dr. Lakshmi Rao, who is working as Professor of Neurophysiology in NIMHANS. Namaste, Doctor, and welcome to this program. So, I have heard of this particular concept that certain kinds of fats are important for the mental well-being, for improving our brain health. So can you tell us what kinds of foods that are rich in fat, what fatty substances are useful for our brain?
Namaste, Dr. Bharat. Happy to share with you something about the diet and the nutrition and the cognition. And the question which you asked about what are these fats, it is basically called as, in the technical term, it's a fatty acids.
Fatty acids.
There are two types of fatty acids majorly present. That we call it as you can name it as a good fat and a bad fat, or else in the simple another scientific term, unsaturated and the saturated fatty acids.
Okay.
And this is not the only nutrient should be available in our diet.
Okay.
So there are also some essential nutrients. So when we say essential nutrients, that again classified into micronutrients and the macronutrients.
Okay.
This fat comes under the macronutrient category.
Okay.
Like in addition to fatty acids, there are also proteins and the carbohydrates. They come under the macronutrients category. Whereas the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and even the water, we call it as a micronutrients, even though it doesn't carry any calories in it.
Okay. So basically, fatty acids are the two of a particular category are good for the human brain, and that you should have more in your diet.
Correct.
Okay. So can you list some of these good fatty acids that are required for brain health?
So you would have heard about in all the social media, they say that the food which is rich with the unsaturated fatty acids. Sometimes they even say that polyunsaturated fatty acids.
Okay.
What are these polyunsaturated fatty acids? It means, it's basically, you can call it as HDL, high density lipoproteins.
Okay.
So that is also the terminology used in a lot of commercial products.
Okay.
So this is, in scientific terms, we call it as omega-3 fatty acids.
Omega-3, okay.
So this omega-3 fatty acids has got several precursors, like, there are at least 4 of them, we can list them.
Okay.
Among that, 2 are like an pentanoic acid and the docosapentanoic acid. So I think it's a little too technical. Rather, I can say that EPA and the DHA. And DHA is the one which is the finally get absorbed in our tissue.
So
That is the polyunsaturated fatty acid which has to be available in the diet.
okay, let me understand. So we have now come from fats to good fat versus bad fat.
Yeah.
In the good fat, we have come to fatty acids.
Correct.
And fatty acids are polyunsaturated fatty acids. Among those, two important for brain health are EPA and DHA. We will not go into the expansion because let us keep it simple. Okay, so these things should be there in the diet.
Correct.
And it is mandatory if you have to improve your mental health.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but my next question is, so suppose you consume in the diet, how do these fatty acids help maybe improve your memory or improve your learning ability? How it improves your mental well-being?
Yeah, it's a really nice thing which I really enjoy talking about that. So when we say mental health, it's the primary requisite for the good mental health is the cognitive health. So it is the cognitive health which decides your mental health.
Okay.
So how do I explain to you about cognitive health? I'll give a simple example. So probably that will enable us in explaining about the cognitive health.
Yeah.
Let's say the spatial cognition. Again, it is too technical. I'll give you an example. Like you want to reach from point A to point B. So for that, you should have first prior knowledge.
Okay.
Second, you should use all the environmental cues.
Okay.
And using these environmental cues and the prior knowledge, you can go from point A to point B.
Okay.
So that is exactly call it as
like what you have a GPS.
GPS. Yeah.
So I am aware of my surroundings. I am going from my house to my market.
Correct.
So I should know I should go east for 100 meters, take a left.
Yes.
So this kind of memory,
Yeah.
this will be wired in my brain.
Yes.
That is part of cognition.
Yeah.
Okay.
One part of the
One
cognition.
part of cognition. Okay.
So another example is the emotional cognition.
Emotional. Okay.
So when we say emotional cognition, like there are some circumstances wherein you have to think clearly, and instead of reacting, you should respond to it. So there you need again cognitive ability.
Okay.
You would have seen that some are very violent. It is because they have a poor emotional cognition. They do not have a control over their emotions.
Okay.
So that maturity comes with the cognitive ability. So that is one of the important emotional cognition we should have it.
Okay.
And all the children, you would know that, motor cognition.
Okay.
So that's very important for any age. Like I'll give an example of sports person. For example, any players, like team player, maybe throw ball or the volleyball. They should be able to judge the opponent team's motor movement, and he or she should be able to receive respond to it very properly. So these are all the cognition we can explain to you in a very simple example.
As I understand, that means you are talking about yourself in your surroundings.
Yeah.
And your ability to respond emotionally
Yeah.
to the outside stimulus.
Yeah.
And third thing is motor means your ability to move your hands, your limbs in a social situation, in sports or any other activity.
Correct.
So these things collectively contribute to overall cognition.
Yes.
So this is cognition one part.
Yeah.
And this is also this kind of things like, for example, memory.
Yeah.
Memory is your ability to retain, store certain events, certain processes. Okay, is that correct?
Yeah, that is exactly. So in generally when people talk about cognition, we only say that ability to quickly understand, learn, remember. So this is not the only thing involved in the cognition. How do we learn? We need to have a proper attention. So when there is a good attention, and our ability to learn will increase. So this is the relationship. Like there are many aspects of the cognition. I think I'll not go in detail about the cognition.
As a lay person, I have understood few things like attention, memory, learning ability, and other parts of cognition. What we thought, what we discussed now. So how do you correlate this with the intake of fatty acids?
Correct. See, you must be when I say attention, you cannot be attentive for a longer period of time. So that is the one requires a lot of energy. So from
correct.
where this energy comes from,
Correct.
it is not internally made.
Okay.
You need to take that in form of the food.
Correct.
In that, among that, this fatty acids, particularly good fatty acids, it will help us in enabling our attentive ability. In turn, influence on our cognitive ability. That is how our brain health is decided. It's like a chain reaction.
Okay. Your attention, your focus,
Yeah.
and the ability to withstand these kind of activities for a longer period of time.
Correct.
So fatty acids, let us say I consume, and it will go to my brain.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
there are centers for attention, memory. So it will go and improve that center, is it? How does it work?
No, it's not just only one area it goes. When we consume food, it goes to the
everywhere.
stomach, it gets absorbed in the
correct,
intestine, and go to the entire part of the body.
Correct.
So all the cell tissues, when you say, it has a membrane.
Membrane.
These
okay.
membranes, if it is breached, like if there is a breakage, if it do not form a stronger membrane,
Okay.
automatically there is a leakage of information. So this information, so it's not that automatically there is an impairment.
Okay.
So you need to take more food, which
To
is highly
strengthen this.
impossible.
Okay,
So
I think-
that is why
okay, got it.
if you need to maintain the membrane integrity, so that communications, like using less food, we can communicate more.
That means for nerve cells, if I can understand,
Yeah.
to communicate with each other,
Yeah.
to send signals,
Correct.
to strengthen the memory, the first and foremost thing that is important is the integrity of the membrane, the strength of the cell, and the maintenance of that three-dimensional structure.
Correct.
That's where these fatty acids will come and sort of strengthen the membrane.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And also you said, doctor, that these fatty acids not only go to the brain, but it also goes to other parts of the body.
Yeah.
So do you think these fatty acids will help other systems also, other tissues?
Definitely. See, when we take food, where does it go? It goes to the
stomach,
bloodstream,
blood,
right?
okay.
Finally into the bloodstream.
Correct.
So there is a different processes.
Correct.
So then this has to be digested.
Yeah.
So then it becomes becomes an important part.
Okay.
So, and in the membrane properties of the liver also will be maintained by this nutrition, like fatty acid.
Okay.
Second important is the muscle. Like when I say motor cognition, my movements.
Muscle, yeah.
So all the muscle has to be strengthened, not just only the protein. So children generally these days they talk only about the proteins.
Okay.
I need to take protein to strengthen my muscle.
Correct.
It's not that. It's equally these fatty acids are very important for the muscle membrane integrity.
Yeah. Okay. So you need fatty acids for your muscle,
Yes.
for your liver,
Yeah.
and also maybe it can help, for disease resistance. Is it like immunity, or is it helpful in fighting disease, or is it possible?
Immunity indirectly we can talk about, because by activating the reducing the usage of the macrophage.
Okay.
That is the total mechanism when we talk about this, how immunity is improved. See, macrophages are more number of macrophages become active because to fight against the infection. So this can be reduced by the nutrition. So nutrition will help us in the maintaining this integrity, so that your macrophage activities comes down.
So overall, so what I understand is, apart from your brain health, fatty acids are involved in improving the peripheral tissues and muscle or liver or something like that. So doctor, next question what people might also think is, where do I get this kind of food? Is there a source, dietary source for fatty acids? Can you suggest a few?
Yeah. See, we are only talking about now fatty acids.
Yeah.
See, I would say that there are two important diet in addition to this high density lipoprotein, like fatty omega-3 fatty acids. There is also choline. So this also equally should be available in our diet. I would say we should take these two in our diet every day.
Okay.
So these are all available in most of our diet.
Okay.
Like in the for example, non-vegetarians and fish and egg are the major source of these two diets.
Okay. Yeah, but madam, I am a pure vegetarian, so I don't eat fish. So is there any source for vegetarians?
Oh, there are a list of things. I would say we know in Kannada we say badavara badami, that's a peanut.
Peanut. Groundnuts,
Peanut is a rich source of
all these fatty acids and choline.
Fatty acids and choline.
Okay.
So there are a list of things which I can tell you.
Yeah.
Like in the vegetarian foods, first is the mother's milk, like breast milk.
Okay.
Then olives, flax seeds, walnuts.
Okay.
As I said, peanut is a very rich source.
Okay.
Algae oils.
Okay.
Avocado. So that now it's available in the then almond, spinach, kidney beans, soybean oil, all vegetable oils.
Vegetable. So this is for the vegetarians. Of course, everybody can consume it.
Yeah.
And non-vegetarians, mainly it is rich in
fish and egg. In addition, of course, it is all seafood will have a rich polyunsaturated fatty acid, which is a good fat.
Okay. So, doctor, let us say I'm taking this food. Sometimes I don't have access to this. So, is there some sort of a pill or a capsule or a supplement where I can use to get myself enriched fatty acid? This one. So, is it available in the form of an extract or a pill or capsule? Is it?
It's a capsule as such. Cod liver oil in the form of capsule it is available.
Cod liver oil is again fish.
Again fish it is.
So fish oil, it's an extract, is it?
Yeah. It's
okay. So that is it. So it'll be enriched with the fatty acids. Yes. So that can be taken.
Yeah. In addition to that, a lot of these days commercial products are like in milk products. In the form of milk products, it is available. They label it as a DHA only.
DHA rich diets. Foods. Okay. So that you can use it for improved mental health.
Yeah.
So, Doctor, I want to talk about a little different subject. Of course, talking about fatty acid containing substances. Is there a particular group or an age group of people who should consume this more?
Yes.
Is it applicable to certain group of people, certain age group? Is it like that?
Yeah. The like diet, both choline and the omega-3 fatty acid, it should start from our pregnancy. From pregnancy, if the mother consumes more of this kind of food, and it's automatically transferred to the fetus in the womb.
So it should start from even before birth. So the consumption of omega-3 fatty acids will happen in the womb of the mother.
Correct,
So it should be at the early stage.
Yes. And the second important period where we should not miss this fatty acid rich diet and also the choline in our diet is in the early childhood. That is before the 3 years of the child.
So during the early development. This is important.
Okay. Yeah. So, very, very critical. If you miss these 2 points, they tend to develop they will have high risk for several psychiatric disorders, even to the stroke, I would say. The risk factor is very high to have a stroke.
So during stroke. That means during pregnancy and also during early childhood, because I remember we have this cultural practice, where during pregnancy, at least later part of pregnancy, there is a cultural practice of giving a lot of healthy food, fruits and nuts to the mother.
Yes.
We call it as Simanta in our part of the country. So I think is it one way of ensuring that there is a healthy
probably food? Like lots of our ancient cultures, it is like they focused mostly into the nutrition, and in the pregnancy, particularly in the last trimester, so that's a very critical period at which even these days they give folic acid. That is another kind of diet. They give it in the capsule format, and so but in our custom, they give a lot of nuts now. And the second period at which after birth also, like after 3 months of the delivery, only for the pregnant mother they'll give the all the nuts. They add all the nuts and they make it kind of one powder. So they give it to the mother. Correct. So probably through mother, again that breast milk we say it's a rich source of that. If mother do not consume this fatty acids and choline in her diet, and child will be deprived of that. And why importantly during pregnancy we talk about, because there is a normally under physiological condition this level is depleted because it consumes whatever choline or the DHA available in the brain tissue, it will be consumed because they need more energy. So it has to be supplemented. So if you do not take, there's a depleted choline will be transferred automatically into the child.
Okay.
So
and
that's why diet-rich food is important at the pregnancy and as well as during the immediately after the birth.
So fatty acid rich food is important. That is the most critical during pregnancy, because I think if I'm correct, so age 0 to 6 years is where you are having the maximum development of the brain.
Correct.
That's why probably they have insisted on the mother being fed with fatty acid rich material and also the children.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a important message for the public actually. If you have to give a sort of a summary of all this in maybe a few sentences, I know if you can tell about nutrition, about mental health, or a parting message as to what people have to do, do's and don'ts.
Yeah. This choline and the DHA, again I'll emphasize more on these two here, because these two, it is very essential, as I said, in the pregnancy and also during the early childhood. If you forget or if you do not give attention at these two critical time period, they definitely tend to develop several psychiatric disorders. One common thing which I can definitely underline that is they develop anxiety disorders. So in our lab also what we did was we tried to focus more on to these essential nutrients, not just only the DHA and the choline. Essential included all of them in the diet and in the animal model. So we always test in animals. So we give this essential nutrients as a supplement in addition to the other routine food. Then when we give it for 1 month period of time, these animals, when they reach the adulthood, they were, like I can say, they were smart rats. They were able to learn any spatial learning very quickly. So if the normal ones takes 18 days, this one would take at least as early as 8 days. They would learn, they perform that so effectively without doing much mistakes in their task. And emotional cognition, when I talk about, we do the fear conditioning. In the fear conditioning and also the anxiety test. So these were less anxious into the anxiety provoking environment and the fear generalization. So the fear conditioning is nothing but the ability to learn to the specific stimulus and we will not give any response to the non-specific or unsafe stimulus. We go to the unsafe environment and we feel safe environment we avoid. That's a normal fear conditioning. And if you go to if you are scared of both the environment, that means generalization. And surprisingly, even the nutrition rich diet which had all the essential nutrients, they were very smart. They wouldn't go to the unsafe environment. They were responding only to the I would say that like an escape behavior only to the unsafe stimulus, not to the safe. Whereas the control, they respond to both. This is called generalization. So we can reduce the generalization with the essential nutrients in their diet.
There is a lab proof which says that if you have more fatty acid or DHA or essential nutrient rich diet,
yes, exactly,
it will help in learning, in memory, and also ability to adapt to fear stimulus. So that's fantastic. I think that's a very good message. Whatever.
And we also looked into the attention. So say we have some task wherein we can study the impulsivity, perseverance behavior, their attention ability to learn something. So these rats were very good. They were not at all impulsive to any stimulus. They are very attentive. They will wait for the stimulus to come and respond to it. That's the real beauty of these essential nutrients, and that is not given at the time of task. It is given 1 month during the adolescent period. We gave it for total 1 month.
That means during the early development stages. That shows that, whatever we were talking earlier, this is applicable to the humans also.
Correct.
So that's the message. So if you have a lot of food intake which is rich in DHA or other omega-3 fatty acids, that will be helpful in improving the mental strength and avoiding the vulnerability to psychiatric disease.
Correct.
Thank you for providing information,
Yeah.
which is of a lot of importance
Yeah.
when it comes to mental health. How we can improve based on simple judgment in taking specialized foods, and these are available.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Namaste.